Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about relationships, Christian relationships, and we're going to be talking about why they're important, how to get them, how to keep them, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and most importantly, we're going to be talking about what the Bible has to say about relationships. So let's roll the intro and we'll go ahead and get started. Well, we've done a lot of talking about relationships here on this channel, and we've never really made a video that's like dedicated to it. So that's pretty much why I'm making this video. I've talked a lot about like the Christian life and, how to grow up, basically. I did a video a couple days ago. It's called how to go from a baby Christian to a mature Christian in 365 days. And one of the things that we really talked about in that video was the importance of Christian relationships. Now, obviously, we didn't have time to like go deep into it, which is what we're going to be doing in this video. But I mentioned it as like a very important element to Christianity because you have to understand something about Christianity. You need to understand two things, actually. Number one, Christianity is a religion. I know that people go around saying all the time, like, it's not about religion, it's about a relationship, whatever. Those people don't know what they're talking about. Christianity is a religion. Don't get your feelings hurt. It's a relationship too, but it's also a religion, okay? So that's number one. And number two, Christianity is cultural. It's a culture. Like we have our own culture. It's like once you become a Christian, you get adopted into the culture and you have to learn the culture. It's like learning a new language. And what's amazing is that Christianity all around the world essentially speaks this language or this cultural thing. We have so many slang terms and, so many different ways of thinking about certain things. And it doesn't matter. I mean, you could be a Christian on the other side of the planet and you still kind of get the basic gist of this culture because it's very cultural. It's a very bizarre religion, but it works because it's global and, it just makes sense. So here's the thing. Relationships is really what helps you kind of go to the next level in Jesus. So if you're like one of those persons who's like, dude, how do I have like more intimacy with God? And how do I get closer to God? And how do I build my relationship? And how do I learn more? Like if you really want all that stuff and you're looking for it, the answer is very simple. It's actually not hard to do at all. You just get really good Christian friends and you build relationships with them. And that's how you do it because they teach you. Right? They teach you, you teach them, you learn from each other, you learn from one another. Christianity is a religion of learning. Like we learn, we teach each other. That's what we do. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD or if you just got saved last week. It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to be teaching you and somebody's going to be learning. Look, people who have PhDs, they're still learning every single day, just like the baby Christian. They're just learning on two entirely different levels. And it's really, really, really incredible to see. But before we get too far into this video, I just want to take about 20 seconds to tell you about my YouTube channel and why I think you should subscribe. First of all, this is a Bible study channel, and what we do here is study the Bible because we take the Bible seriously, and we seriously study the Bible. So if you're looking for a Bible study that's online, it's absolutely free. You just found it, and you can go ahead and click subscribe. Oh, also, I forgot to tell you, my name is Adam Jordan Clark, and I publish a brand new video every single day. Click subscribe, and you subscribe to the channel. Oh, and the bell notification, click that thing too. So here's the thing. I have a great passage we're going to go look at, and it's Romans chapter 16. Also, we've spent a lot of time in the book of Romans too. A lot of time in Romans chapter 8, and now we're going to go to chapter 16. And this is actually a chapter nobody goes to. Like nobody ever goes to chapter 16 because nobody really knows what to do with chapter 16. So they just ignore it. And you'll pretty much find out, if you've spent any time in Christianity and you know a little bit about the Bible, you know that most pastors just kind of approach the Bible like that. They're like, well, I don't know what to do with this chapter in the book. Let's just not talk about it. And that's kind of what they do. And that's primarily because, that's a topic for another time. But basically, pastors aren't very good at being pastors these days, much more, or preachers at least, or teachers. So, you have to go to external sources. And thank God for the internet, because if we didn't have the internet, we'd be in serious trouble. So, with all that aside, I'm going to show you this text. It's Romans chapter 16. And I really want to build context before we go into it. So basically, I want to tell you what's going on. So I'm going to assume that you probably know who the Apostle Paul is. If you don't know who the Apostle Paul is, I'll just give you a little rundown. Basically, he was a person who was a Jew, and he lived as a Jew, and he died as a Jew. He was a Jew his whole life, but he didn't believe in Jesus, okay? And so he was a persecutor of the church, the early Christians. He went around killing them because they believed in Jesus. He didn't. Then he got a revelation and said, hey, I'm not going to kill these Christians anymore. And he became the people that he tried to kill, that he was killing. And so after all that time, God used him powerfully, and he set up a whole bunch of churches. And in Romans, this is a church that was in Rome. Now, Paul didn't found this church. Nobody really knows who started this church. It's kind of just commonly held that these Christians actually came from Jerusalem originally, and then they went back to Rome, and they started a church there. That's kind of like the traditional idea there. We don't know if that's true or not, but that's just kind of what a lot of people think. And so when we read Romans, you have to understand something. Paul is probably in Corinth or near that area, which is a port city that's kind of like near, it's not really near Rome, but it's closer to Rome than Jerusalem is. We'll put it to you like that. And so probably when Paul was in Corinth, he wrote a letter, and that letter was sent to Rome. But it's interesting how this letter was sent. This letter was not sent just by him, putting it in the mail and it just got there. That's not how they sent it. Instead, what happened is Paul basically put together a ministry team. And this ministry team was just not random people that he picked. These were his closest friends. And he picked his closest friends and said, look, guys, I'm writing a letter to this church in Rome, and I want you to personally go there and minister to these people, and I want you to take my letter and read it to them out loud. And so that's what we're going to see here in chapter 16. Let's go ahead and look at it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Paul basically says, I want you to accept our sister Phoebe, who is a servant in the Lord. She's a very good Christian, a very good close friend of Paul. And he basically says, look, guys, I want you to welcome her in a manner worthy of the saints. So I want you to treat her just like you would treat the men, because this woman's really important. He goes on to tell us about Priscilla and Aquila, which were probably a married couple. And I'm sure you've heard these names before. They get thrown around in Christianity a lot. And he says, look, they're my fellow workers. Like, they're coming to see you. And they've risked their own lives. They've risked their own lives for the gospel and for Jesus, just like Paul has. So it's a really great thing. He goes on to tell us about all these other people who are going to be coming along with him. So all these people are going to be getting on a boat and going down to Rome, or really going up to Rome. And when they get there, they're going to be ministering to all these people. So basically, Paul is saying, look, guys, I'm planning on coming to Rome, and I'm sending all these people here first. And, these people are going to minister to you, and then hopefully I can come and minister to you. And so what's the point? Like, what does this have to do with relationships? Well, what we understand here is like the believers in Rome are believers. Like, these are not, non-believers. Like, these are real Christians, right? Just understand the point I want to make, and hang with me, right? The people who are in Rome are believers. And yet here's Paul, who has all these other believers. I mean, we got great gospel. These people have founded churches. They're deacons in the church. I mean, all of these people are going to Rome to hang out with other believers so they can minister to them. And Paul himself is saying, look, I know you guys are believers. He tells us that throughout the letter. And he says, look, I'm going to come and see you, and I'm going to preach to you. Isn't that amazing? Like, here in Christianity, we actually have Christians who go and teach other Christians. So you have to understand something. Christianity, in terms of relationship, is not just about, going out and saving that which is lost. Like, we don't just do that. Like, what we do a lot of is hanging out with each other and teaching each other and discipling one another and encouraging one another and, really teaching each other sound doctrine. So again, it's like a baby Christian. You just got saved yesterday. That's fine. You're going to learn. Like, you're going to learn every day. You're going to learn something new. The dude who's got a PhD, he's going to learn something new every single day. You might be at totally different levels, but you're both going to be learning something, because that's Christianity as a culture. It's a culture of learning. It's this special language that we have where we love people and we care about people and we take care of them. And the more you do this, the more you participate in these types of relationships, the better off you're going to be. The more mature you're going to get, the more encouraged you're going to be, and the more you're going to get closer to Jesus, or rather, the closer you are going to get to Jesus. It's just a really amazing experience, and you're just going to learn a lot. It's really, really, really fun. Now, obviously, there's some people you don't want to hang around. There's some Christians you don't want to hang around because they're just super negative and they have no idea what they're talking about. That's a video for another time. We'll probably do that tomorrow or the next day or something like that, but we'll definitely be talking about those kinds of things. But all you need to know is that Christianity is about relationships, and the Bible here is telling us about relationships, and Paul himself was a big advocate of relationships, and so therefore we need to be advocates of relationship. We need to be in relationship with each other. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below. If you've never heard about Romans chapter 16, if you've never read it, if you wondered why are all these greetings there, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the book of Romans and what you think about the church in Rome. And if you want to know more about that kind of stuff, like history, like the background, let me know, because it's cool stuff and it's fun. So I'll make some videos on it if you want me to. I have more playlists up here if you want to go and check them out. Don't forget to click the big red A, because when you do, you subscribe to the channel, help me reach the goal of 1 million subscribers, and you get a brand new video every single day. My name is Adam Jordan Clark. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.